It's a somber Monday in Dolphin Nation after that tough loss. I mean, probably the toughest since the Monday Night Football game against the Jets in 2000, where Miami, they blew a massive lead in that game, and I know we're feeling it all again. Listen, we're going to get into it today. Is the MVP talk over for Tua? With Connor Williams, what's the deal? It's a torn ACL. What's the plan after that? Man, we got a lot to get into, so let's do it. Fins up.
Loses the football. Touchdown! Got it! You have got to be kidding me. Jalen Waddle has a Dolphin touchdown. And he will score! Field on the near side, man open. Touchdown! The run from Tua Tagovailoa. Touchdown! He's going deep. He's going up for the touchdown again.
Beautiful day to be a Dolphin fan. Let's go!
What is good, Fin Nation? What's good? It's your boy Reason. We are back here for another one on a somber Tuesday where, hey, it's a somber day in Dolphin land. I don't know what else to say. Everyone's feeling the pain today. Everyone's taking it out in different ways. I see it. But I do got to say this. Stop blaming one person. I see people trying to fit agendas and spin narratives and, everyone's trying to blame Tua. Listen, the offensive line and Mike McDaniel were more detrimental to our offensive success yesterday than Tua Tagovailoa. Now, was Tua Tagovailoa good? Was Tua Tagovailoa great? Hell no. He was mediocre at best. I'll be the first to admit that. But you also got to look at it this way. Sure, Will Levis made throws at the end of the game, but if you think about it, Will Levis was more detrimental to his team's overall success with a pick six than Tua Tagovailoa was. That's just a fact. All right? It's a tough loss, and I get everyone's mad, but we're falling back into that trap where everyone in this fan base is looking for one singular person to blame when it's not. It is a multitude of reasons. And people, the excuses. There's no excuses. This is the context of the situation. This is why things went the way they did. And, listen. I'll hop, listen, let's just kick this off. Let's hop, and because I got something to lay out here, okay? And there's a real conversation to be had. Is this team cursed in primetime? Is this team just cursed in primetime? Are they not built for primetime? Because every time we're in primetime, something bad happens. Ever since that Lamar Jackson Ravens win, and I'll even say the defense. The defense absolutely folded like an accordion. They allowed 136 yards in just over 2 minutes and 14 points. Listen, this is going to pain me more than it's going to pain anyone else, but I have to do it. I have to. I have to. It was going to be Sean McDermott. It was going to be one of those idiots, but then yesterday happened. So, before I show this, I want everyone to know this pains me as someone who vouched for this guy, as someone who wanted him, even just as an offensive coordinator, let alone head coach. But I gotta call a spade here. My jabroni of the week is Mike McDaniel. Listen. You saw that 3 high, if you go back and watch that game, I noticed that while we were live, and then you go back and you can watch it. I mean, we were getting light boxes and a 3 high safety shell look that we'd seen implemented earlier in this season by by Bill Belichick, and we saw Tua slice and dice. We saw Tua slice and dice that 3 high shell. Why? Take everything underneath and run the football. Listen, we should have had 40 rush attempts yesterday. You had over 158 yards. Then in the latter half of the game, you get inside the 10-yard line, and that's when you decide you're going to start running it, and you get 2 easy touchdowns like it's nothing. Hot knife through butter. You left 8 points on the board by not doing that early on. Tyreek comes back in the game. We get inside the 10. All right, let's 3 straight pass plays, including a fade. Guys, the fades worked 2 or 3 times this season. The other 7, 8, 9 times we tried it hasn't worked. He's not some 6'4", 6'5", dominant, go up and get it, high point guy. And Mike McDaniel, again, we're wasting timeouts because you're getting in the play-in with under 10 seconds left. And we got like 2 or 3 motions on some of these calls. Then Tyreek goes down, and instead of, using Waddle in that wingback look, just switching the motion to Waddle, you just start scrapping the motions. You've had weeks to prepare Chase Claypool into that role you had carved out for Eric Izakama, and you just refuse to give him reps. When we've already seen him make plays early on when he was given shots. As little as opportunities as he got, he made plays. I'm sorry, Mike. And your staff let you down too. Vic Fangio, that guy is absolutely livid today. I can absolutely guarantee you that. But your defensive coordinator let you down. That falls on you. This hurts me more than anything. Because everyone knows there ain't no bigger Mike McDaniel fan than me. It just isn't. But you got to be objective here. You have to be objective here. He was the jabroni of the week. Mike McDaniel could have changed the outcome of this game by being more committed to the run, IDing the 3 high safety in the light boxes and continuing to gash. But you didn't. When we were getting more push in the run game than we were getting protection in the pass game, you continued to drop Tua back. And then you want to push the ball all year. 3rd and 2, you run a screen to Achane when everyone and their mother knows what's happening. When you got the middle of the field right there, make the play. If you don't make the play, you got another throw, which ended up being a sack anyways. But you got the middle of the field, make the throw, and spike the ball. I'm sorry. I broached the subject weeks ago. I'm going to say it again. If Frank Smith goes somewhere and Darrell Bevell gets elevated to offensive coordinator and this stuff continues, this is a conversation that needs to be had. Should Darrell Bevell take over the play calling duties? He's been to 2 Super Bowls, won one of them as a play caller. Everyone can say about, okay, well, the last play of the second one where Wilson threw the pick. Everyone knows how I feel. I feel the fix was in, and the NFL did not want Marshawn Lynch getting that MVP award, that Super Bowl MVP award, where if he would have scored on that play, he would have got the MVP award. I think the fix was in. I think that was out of Bevell's hands. But I digress. We've seen Tua's ascent under Bevell. Russell Wilson had his best years and was an MVP candidate consistently under Darrell Bevell. You saw what Marshawn Lynch did in the run game under Darrell Bevell. And I know it's unrealistic. I know the ego's coming to play and McDaniel's not going to give it up. I get all that. But we used to say he was a record chaser. We used to say Mike McDaniel's clearly chasing records. I mean, he's clearly chasing the Tyreek record. Why isn't he chasing the record to absolutely crush LaDainian Tomlinson's over 20-plus rushing touchdowns in a single season? Mostert's on pace if you give him the chances. Mostert could have had a 4-touchdown game yesterday. Or 2 and Achane for 2. You got 3rd and 2 situations inside the 10. When Mostert's averaging over 5 yards a carry. Achane's averaging 6.7 yards per carry. You're throwing the goddamn football. Why? Listen, I'm going to tell you this. The media ain't being hard enough on them with this. This is egregious. This is now costing us games. And I said last week I was worried about Sanders costing us in a key moment in the playoffs. I'm worried that Mike McDaniel's play calling is going to cost us too. I'm more worried about Mike McDaniel's play calling than I am if Tua's going to get it done. It's not even close. I just do not understand it. I just do not understand it. And the media should be hammering them over this lack of running in situations. Stop with the nice guy. Let's all have a laugh. Let's all play patty cake. Kumbaya. Stop. You just blew a layup. We're talking fast break. All the other defenders are on the other side of the court, and you blew the layup. That's what we're talking about. We didn't need Tua to be great on those final 2 drives. We needed to run the football and move the sticks and eat the clock. That's what we needed to do. And this is coming from someone who's, you won't find a bigger fan of Mike McDaniel. Genius play designer. But as a play caller, keeps stepping on his own damn toes and keeps outthinking his own damn self. And this is a theme. Going back to last year. Same with getting the play calls in late. Got to burn timeouts. Multiple games in a row now we've had to burn timeouts because he's not getting the play call in. Hell, we've seen opening drives. We got the most scripted drives of the game. Where we're having to take timeouts because he's not getting the play calls in quick enough. I don't know what to say. Hurts me, Mikey. Hurts me a lot, but brother, you got to wear the hat this week. You get the majority of the blame from me. And Fangio, you're shouldering some blame. And the offense, you're shouldering blame. Offense as a collective. See, that's the problem. Offensively, from the coaching to the players, the execution was poor. The offensive line was an absolute disaster. Per Next Gen Stats, Tua Tagovailoa was pressured on 39% of his dropbacks yesterday and sacked 5 times. He was 4 of 11 passing the football for 27 yards. He was a minus 20.4 completion over expected under pressure. Without pressure, Tua was 19 of 22 for 213. No lead is safe. Yeah, I mean, teams that were down by 14 with 3 minutes left in the game since 2016 were 0-767. Now they're 1-767. Ugly. Ugly, ugly, ugly. I'm having flashbacks to Chan Gailey with the screens. I really am. I'm not even lying. If y'all have been around that long, you remember bubble screen. I'm having flashbacks, man. All right, let's get into some serious news here before we get into the snap counts, the PFF grades. Well, you're going to want to stick around for those PFF grades. Before we get into all this stuff, we got some serious house cleaning to take care of. Let's start off with Mike McDaniel and Connor Williams. Plus, the Dolphins signed a player today. We had a team-only meeting. Let's get into this. Players-only meeting. Let's get into this. All right.
Day-to-day for Tyreek. Connor Williams out for the season. ACL.
Torn.
Yeah.
Connor Williams, torn ACL. Tyreek, day-to-day. And now you got to ask yourself 2 questions. Who's more important, Tyreek or Connor? It's neck and neck. It's closer than you think. At worst, Connor's our 3rd most important player behind Tua and Tyreek on offense. But does this derail our Super Bowl aspirations? You have to ask yourself, does this derail our Super Bowl aspirations? I mean, Mike McDaniel went on to say in that presser today that they are going to look at bringing in a center. Eichenberg just ain't it, brothers and sisters. He just ain't it. He also went on to say it's more conceivable that Terron Armstead plays this week than Robert Hunt. We're going to be dealing with this Robert Hunt injury into that 3-game stretch at the end of the year, it seems. Even further, did y'all hear what Javon Holland said today? Javon Holland said he has 2 MCL sprains. Brandon Jones is going to be out there a lot more than we think. Look at the players we're dealing with. Jalen Phillips. Connor Williams. Robert Hunt. Tyreek's banged up to hell right now. Jerome Baker. We got to deal with Duke Riley because of that. 4 of those 5 guys are all pro talents this year for us. Robert Hunt playing at an all-pro level. Connor Williams, all-pro level when he's healthy. Let's go 6. Terron Armstead. Take it to 5 all-pro. Terron Armstead playing at an all-pro level. Tyreek Hill, obviously all-pro. Like, these aren't minor injuries. Jalen Phillips playing at an all-pro level. These aren't minor guys. These are significant impact players. And now we might have lost the most important one of them, Connor Williams. Well, we did. I mean, we didn't might have. We did. And this is a 9 to 12 month rehab process for Connor Williams. Is he going to be the same when he comes back next December? It usually takes a year to come back from an ACL and another year to start feeling your normal self. Now, we're put into a position where I hate to be the bearer of bad news, everyone, but center obviously becomes a massive hole and massive need in the draft or free agency. I don't know what to say. That's a tough loss, man. And then when you look at who's out there, it's even tougher. Look what's out there right now. Chase Roulier, Rodney Hudson, Ben Jones, Justin Britt, Kyle Fuller, Matt Skura, Nick Martin. I mean, to me, it's Ben Jones or Rodney Hudson. Rodney Hudson, he looks old and slow now. Chase Roulier, I believe, is retired. You got to make a move for Ben Jones. That's the best name on this list. Been to Pro Bowls. That's literally your best option. And the guy hasn't even played a snap this year, too. But, I mean, when I say Ben Jones, look why I say Ben Jones. Look at his grades. Right? Great run blocker. Decent pass blocker, obviously. Better than decent pass blocker. Can eat snaps. I mean, the options and pickings are slim. And I'm going to tell you why I'm pissed off. What was I saying all offseason and all season? What was I saying? Our depth in the trenches on both sides of the football in terms of on the interiors, center specifically, defensive tackle specifically, and our depth at interior linebacker are not good. And where are we at? We need to fill two of those three holes. Baker's down. Hunt and Connor are down. We're literally living my nightmare. Literally living my nightmare. And look at the impact. Listen, how many times, go back and watch the film, how many times are you seeing Tua? Watch his head. First read, second read, got to bail, pressure. First read, second read, third read, bail, pressure. And when he's going first read, second read, second read, third read, they're not there. Guys weren't getting open. You even heard the announcer, I think it was Orlovsky, talk about it. When Tyreek Hill was out, that secondary settled down and they were taking away a lot of throws. Then we get a wheel to Achane, and Achane slows down when he gets hip to hip to the defender. And Tua is throwing it in stride, not expecting you to slow down and restart. And because you do that, Tua misses you. We had one starter on the offensive line, Austin Jackson, and he had his worst game of the season yesterday. He was a turnstile. Signs a big contract, craps the bed. Eichenberg, easily his worst year. Guys, look at what happened against the Bills. You remember what happened against the Bills? When they were getting that middle penetration into our pocket, throwing off the timing and the rhythm of our offense, and we couldn't get things going? That's exactly what happened yesterday. And they were doing it with a four-man rush again. And Mostert and Achane, their play is screaming, feed me, feed me, feed me. Now let's drop back 28 times. When clearly pass pro wasn't working because you just weren't getting clean enough pockets. And now, I mean, look at what McDaniel said today about Eichenberg. He's dealing with bumps and bruises, and he'll likely start at center. So now he's banged up. He did say you might see us add somebody here in the near future. Now, are they going to go get a guy like Marquise Hayes off a practice squad? I don't know. But Lester Cotton is now Eichenberg's backup at center. Let that set in. Your option behind Eichenberg, who's dealing with bumps and bruises, is Lester Cotton at center. And I was out here screaming to trade for a center. I gave us options. I laid out options for all y'all of who we could trade for. They did nothing. They sat on their damn hands. Mike McDaniel also did say today that players met on their own. He hasn't had a team meeting. So we had a players-only meeting today. Players-only meeting. Now, people are going to look at that as a negative, like that's a positive. They didn't have a players-only meeting during the skid last year in December. And they didn't wait till it started to snowball. They realized they dropped the ball on a layup, and they're trying to hold accountability in that locker room right away. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, I think we're going to whoop the Jets. That's great. That's fine and dandy. That's fine. You're going to whoop the Jets. Fantastic. Great. 10-4. Let's go. But that's not what I'm watching. I'm watching how you handle the Dallas Cowboys coming to your town. I'm watching how you handle going to Baltimore. Well, if you need to play it, because, hey, we could win the next 3. You never know. Anything's possible. If you didn't learn any given Sunday last night with Tennessee, just because it worked against your team, I don't know how to help you. But if we win the next 3, sure, I don't know. But let's say we don't. So, Buffalo, I'm going to be looking at how you respond against those teams. I don't want you coming out whooping the Jets, making a statement against the Jets, and then doing what Chubb said, seeing the goals in front of you and taking your gas off the pedal against a team like Dallas. How are you going to respond with that big boy stretch down to end this season over the final 3 games? I expect them to TCB this weekend, take care of business. I expect that. But I'm going to be watching, what do you do after the Jets? And if you don't handle your business against the Jets, we're going to have a real serious conversation right now. Because you're going to have to win 3 straight. You had a chance, and it was a layup. You had a chance to turn that magic number from 3 to 2 with a win yesterday. And by magic number, I'm saying clinching the division, because if you get to 12 wins, no matter what, the Bills can win out all they want. They ain't getting 12 wins. You had the chance to lock down that magic number, and you blew it. Better hope the Cowboys handle the Bills this weekend. Unreal. It's just unreal. I mean, what else can you say? Really, what else can you say? Furthermore, before we get into all the stats and stuff like that, the Miami Dolphins, they have signed free agent pass rusher Melvin Ingram. Some potential help off the edge. Bringing him back. I mean, so then why did you go get JPP? Bringing back Melvin Ingram because Ogba, besides one play yesterday, wasn't very good. I mean, sure, I like this move, but does this move the needle for where we're at right now and what we're dealing with? Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Does this move the needle at all? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. We need a center right now. Like, we need a center right now. I don't know. I don't know. You know? I don't know. Is this our biggest concern right now? Is this our biggest concern right now? Is finding an edge rusher? You've added 2 edge rushers in as many weeks. Anyways, sure, Melvin Ingram is back. Yay. So let's start breaking this down. Let's get into this. Here are your snaps on the offensive side. Look at this. Someone tell me if they can locate Chase Claypool's name. Chase Claypool didn't get a single snap. Not even on special teams. Jeff Wilson got 1 snap. See Waddle, obviously, because of the injury to Tyreek, he took on wide receiver 1 duties, which I don't understand. Then why aren't you using him in the same motion? It's like McDaniel had no game plan if we lose Tyreek. And you know Tyreek is this banged up. And it's like you had no game plan. Durham Smythe continues to be tight end 1. Raheem Mostert absolutely dominated in snaps when it comes to the running back room. Out snapping Achane by 13. And I'm going to post something. If you're looking for an extra weapon and you can't locate something on the market, why aren't you flexing Ingold out into tight end role more? Sure, he's a little bit shorter, but he's got hands. He's fast with the football in his hands, can be deadly in open space. Why don't, if you're looking for your third option, involve Ingold more? You can flex him in line and teams don't know whether he's blocking or chipping in and leaking out. You could be using Ingold way more. You really could. You have an option right in front of you. You paid him. He can be an H-back. He can be a fullback. He can play a tight end role. And Omar, if you're watching this, when you come on for the next cover 4, you know I'm going back in on you on that tight end seam threat. I can't believe Omar Kelly said he doesn't think we need a tight end as a third option. Where the target's going to come from? Well, I present to you last night. Defensive snap counts for the Miami Dolphins. Duke Riley, 100% of the snaps yesterday. Brandon Jones, 100% of the snaps. Brandon Jones wasn't that good yesterday either. David Long seeing 89% of the snaps. He should be 100%. Duke Riley should be 89. What are we saying with our lives? Kidder Cole, who had a chance, almost got an interception on one of those final 2 drives. Didn't come down with the football. Elliott being worked back in. Overall, though, that's a season high 18 snaps for Elijah Campbell. So, that's your snap counts for yesterday. I mean, what are you going to say? Let's get into this, though. Who's ready for this one? Who's ready for the PFF grades? I know we've all been waiting to see this. I know we all been waiting to see this one. So let's hop into this. This is going to be a fun exercise. Let's start off with your offensive grades. Cedric Wilson Jr. and Tyreek Hill were your highest graded players. Third highest was Jalen Waddle. Fourth was Raheem Mostert. Fifth was Lester Cotton. Julian Hill, Liam Eichenberg were your two worst graded guys. Ingold was number 3. Craig Kraft 4, and Barris was the 5th worst graded Dolphin. Ugly. Tua Tagovailoa, he was the 7th lowest graded Miami Dolphin yesterday. Now, when you look at passing, Tua was 3 for 4 beyond 20 to the right side of the field. On the intermediate level, he was 3 of 7. Short level, he was 12 of 16. And then behind the line of scrimmage, he was 5 of 6. Shout out to Cedric Wilson for making some snags to the deep right. Same with Tyreek. Tua when he's kept clean yesterday. 18 of 21 for 184 yards. 85.7 completion percentage. 8.8 yards per attempt. Average depth of target about 6.6 yards. Time to throw about 2.2. Passer rating 103.2. When he was under pressure yesterday, they had him charted here at 5 for 12. 41.7%. Average depth of target 9.5. Adjusted is 41.7. Passer rating of 56.3. Time to throw 3.33. Now remember, next gen stats, they had Tua's 4 for 11 for 27 yards under pressure and 19 for 22 for 213 without pressure. And they had him pressured on 39% of his dropbacks and sacked 5 times. So that was next gen stats. So obviously there's a discrepancy between PFF and next gen stats here. Talk about it all the time. Jekyll and Hyde when he's kept clean. I'll tell you why. And think about this. How many sacks did Tua avoid yesterday with his pocket maneuverability? At least 3 or 4. At least 3 or 4. He avoided at least 3 or 4 sacks. The problem is when the pressure comes from the interior. It's easier to deal with it when it comes off the edge. If the interior is holding, but the edge is a little compromised, you can just step up into that pocket. It's clean, and boom, you can rifle it. The problem is, when that interior is compromised, there's nowhere to step up to. So stepping up and resetting and triggering is much harder. We saw Tua making throws on the move. We had drops when he was making throws on the move. So, yeah. I mean, when the pressure comes from an interior for our offense, the way our scheme is designed, that's the worst type of pressure we can have. That is the worst. Because we are a timing and rhythm-based offense. And that interior pressure throws all that haywire. Now, blocking. Miami Dolphins allowed 13 pressures yesterday. See, look. They only charged them with 3 sacks. Now, next gen stats charge the offensive line with 5. So, there's another discrepancy. They get 2 to Robert Jones, 1 to Julian Hill. Robert Jones with 4 pressures, 2 for Lester, 2 for Austin Jackson, 2 for Kendall Lamb, 2 for Eichenberg. They didn't charge the other 2 to Tua. So I don't know what they decided to do with the other 2 sacks. Did they decide just not to count them in Pro Football Focus? Is that what happened here? Again, Next Gen Stats or Pro Football Focus. Next Gen Stats is not only run by the NFL, but they have actual equipment in the footballs, chips and such. So, I mean, I don't know what PFF's doing here. Defensively, Bradley Chubb and Raekwon both had 87.1s. Ogba had a 74.9. Zach Sealer had a 74.1. Christian Wilkins had a 72.7. Elijah Campbell had a 42. Jalen Ramsey had a 50.8. Deshaun Elliott had a 55.4. Jason Pierre-Paul, on 2 snaps, managed a 56. Ugly. Ugly. And here's what we got in coverage. Xavier Howard targeted 10 times, allowed 4 receptions for 77 yards, 3 first downs, a drop, and had 3 pass breakups. Pass breakups are what saved his grade. Duke Riley targeted 5 times, allowed 4 receptions for 49 yards, 3 first downs. Kader Kohu targeted 5 times, allowed 5 receptions for 31 yards, 3 first downs, and a touchdown. Jalen Ramsey targeted 4 times, allowed 3 receptions for 75 yards. He had his worst game as a Dolphin. 3 first downs allowed. David Long targeted 4 times, allowed 2 receptions for 14 yards and a first down. Deshaun Elliott targeted 3 times, allowed 3 receptions for 57 yards, 2 first downs. Elijah Campbell targeted once, allowed 1 reception for 1 first down and 23 yards. AVG targeted once, allowed 1 reception for 1 yard. Man, we missed we missed Javon Holland so badly yesterday. It's unbelievable. It really is. We missed him real bad yesterday. Tough, man. Let's get into next gen stats. Will Levis' passing chart. He was spreading the ball around. Obviously had that interception, pick 6 at the line of scrimmage. He was 23 of 48 for 327, a touchdown and a pick, a plus 4.4 completion percentage over expected. Just fearless, man. Moving around, just fearless. Everyone, now you saw why I loved Will Levis so much in that draft class. Y'all are seeing it. Everyone slept on my boy Will. Spread the ball around. It ain't no dink and dunk like we've seen from Herbert and such. He was spreading the ball. Now, Tua Tagovailoa's passing chart. Eerily similar. Spreading the ball around. His completion percentage over expected was plus 1.6. 23 of 33 for 240. I don't know. It's just tough, man. Like, it's just tough loss. Just a tough loss. Just a tough loss. Layup, man. That was a freaking layup. Diving deeper into the next gen stats, Will Levis had the longest completed air distance of 55.8. Tua, he had a 44.3 completed air distance. Fastest ball carrier yesterday was Raheem Mostert. He reached 19.78 miles per hour. D-Hop reached 18.88 for the Titans. Fastest sack. Look at this. Jaleel Johnson had a sack in 1.7 seconds. Think about that for a second. A sack in 1.7 seconds. Huh. Like literally a little over a second and a half. Unbelievable. Wilkins, our fastest sack came in 4.2 seconds. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And then here you go to the passing charts. You see they got Tua 2 for 3 from the deep, from 20 plus only to the right side. Now, again, I always compare. If you remember, PFF had him 3 for 4 to that side. Right? Like next gen stats, they have Tua right here. Was that 4 for 6 from the intermediate level? And PFF had him 3 for 7. So the discrepancies are there. And remember, next gen stats are the ones you trust. Because again, they got like chips in the football. All right. Like they got technology here. All right. They're not a bunch of volunteers like PFF has, working for free, trying to move their way up. Got to talk about this here. Look at that left side. Wide left, inside left. Look at Raheem just eating. Achan eating wide left off the edges. Like, what are we doing? Look at this. What are we doing, man? Run the ball, Mike. Derrick Henry shut down 17 carries for 34 yards. Average receiver separation. Look at this. Cedric Wilson, 1.44 yards. Durham Smythe, 1 yard. League average is 2.95. Hill, 4.05. Wild, 3.9. Barrios, 3.68. Look at D-Hop, 2.32, and look at the mess he made. Unreal. And then you look at defensive pass rush, league average separation is about 4.53 yards. Their linebacker, Harold Landry, edge player, was about 3.06. Autry was below it at 4.02. Like, Arden Key below it, 4.25. Jaleel Johnson below it, 4.28. Like, well below it. And then we had guys well below it, too, and what did we get out of it? Bradley Chubb, 3.06. And he missed 3 sacks. Zach Sealer, 3.7. Wilkins, 3.82. Van Ginkel, 4.18. They made more with their separation from the quarterback than we did defensively. And, I mean, the conversation, we can have it. Is the MVP talk over for Tua Tagovailoa right now? Look at Tua Tagovailoa's line. He's now fallen below Tyreek Hill. He's pretty much dropped to like 8th. In and around 8, right? 7, 8. Listen, I'm going to tell you this much. I hope this MVP talk dies down. I hope this 2,000-yard talk dies down. Enough. Get back to your roots. Get back to what you did in the Cleveland game last year. Get back to spreading the football around. Get back to 1A, 1B with Tyreek and Waddle. Not Tyreek clearly the one, because what's that done? Affected the chemistry, the timing, and even the communication between Waddle and Tua. We saw Waddle 2 times in the first half run the wrong route because of communication errors. Get back to it. Start making Waddle more of a focal point. All this forcing the pass, and I don't know whether you're trying to get Tyreek or Tua the MVP, but enough. Get back to your roots of what we were doing last year with a 1A and a 1B. Like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand. Get back to what made this offense so deadly. And FYI, Ingram signing to the practice squad, not to the 53. But get back to what made you so deadly and so fearful. And run the ball, man. When the team is screaming to you, the opposing team is screaming to you, light box, we're not afraid. And you know what it is? It's because defenses know Mike McDaniel ain't going to stick to it. They know. I should have taken a Halls. Itchy throat. They know exactly what you're going to do. Man, you were in a position where if you won yesterday, you could afford to go 2-2 on this final 4-game stretch. You really could have. Because if you would have won yesterday and gone 2-2, you still would have reached 12 wins and won the division. Jason says Shanahan ran the ball 20 times in a row versus the Rams a few years back. Jason, you bring up a point. You sparked a point I brought up yesterday in a conversation I had after the game. I don't get it. These guys get too fucking cute. I'll give you examples. Perfect examples. Atlanta. Shanahan running the offense, McDaniel under him. 28-3 lead. What happens? They start getting too cute. Blow the lead. Blow the biggest lead in Super Bowl history. Lose the game to the Patriots. Up against the Chiefs with Jimmy G. Sure, Jimmy G missed that deep shot that would have sealed it. What happened, though? They got too cute. Offensively, they started getting way too cute with Kansas City, and Kansas City came back. Like, there's a history of this stuff. He comes from a culture of blown leads in big moments because you get too cute. That's literally a fact. Smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I know it's tough. Hey, I get it. And before people try to make this about a Tua Tyreek thing, Tyreek, it's just because of Tyreek. I should brought this up yesterday. I'll bring it up here again for all of you right now. I have no problem doing that. I'll do it right now. I'll bring it up. This was Tua's numbers without Tyreek. Basically with Tyreek off the field in 2023, leading into this game. So this is prior to this game. Tua, his stats with Tyreek off the field in 2023, 63 of 76, 82.9% completion percentage, 639 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 picks, 119.2 passer rating, 0.31 EPA per pass attempt, and a 59.2 success rate. It's not that Tyreek was... It's not about, two don't fall apart with Tyreek off the field. What happens is McDaniel looked like a deer in freaking headlights with Tyreek off the field, and he got away from the run. He got away from what was working. He didn't feed it. This should have been a game where we ran more than we threw the ball. And you literally can't even argue that. Like, what are you going to argue? Right? Like, what are you going to argue? Achane and Mostert had 28 carries between the two of them for 143 yards. Raheem was averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Achane was averaging 6.7 yards per carry. Yet, we ended up passing the ball 33 times compared to 33 runs. Inexcusable. Where's Tanner Connor or one of these? Man, you already know how I feel about that. That ain't real. Enough of these projects. Enough of the projects. I'll tell you what's wrong with them. They're trying to fit him into that tight end role. They're trying to fit him into that Izakama role where you're a tight end / receiver, right? We're 11 personnel, but you can do 12 and 21 personnel looks. So Claypool's trying to grasp it. That's what's happening right now. Sibo, that's what I'm saying, right? Remember when we lost to the Tennessee Titans last time? When it was win and get in? Do you remember? What was that? What happened? Rain, wet, protection wasn't good. Tua was off. Duke Johnson was the best offensive player. His play was screaming, feed me, feed me, feed me. What happened? They kept dropping Tua back, and we lost the game. Literally. Quarterbacks are not going to be perfect for 17 games. You're not going to have 300 to 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks every game. Not going to happen. Don't care who you are. And if it does happen, that's a rarefied air you're in with that season. You're going to have down games. And when those games happen, you got to do what you do, and that's lean on the run. And considering Mike McDaniel came before he got handed the offensive coordinator reins, he was a run game coordinator, even less of an excuse. Even less of an excuse. And listen, I'm going to say this. We're all going to be watching Hard Knocks very intently today. I don't know how much they're going to have in from the loss from yesterday or whatever, how much made the cutting room floor. Unbelievable. When your pass pro is clearly compromised, run the ball. That's what you do. This should have been a game where we had 35 to 40 rushes and 25-ish passes. Not even a question. Guys, smash that like button. Subscribe if you're new. Here's the deal. Tomorrow I'm either going to be back with a film study or with Neil Driscoll. I'm going to figure that out. Hey, play by ear, and you guys will see tomorrow. So be on the lookout tomorrow for that. And then, if I go with Neil tomorrow, then the film study will be on Thursday. If I do the film study tomorrow, then I'll be running my own show on Thursday because Neil won't be available till like 9 or 10 o'clock, and I'm not going to run coinciding with Thursday Night Football. And then Friday, we'll be back for preview this Jets game, and then Sunday we're back at it. It's a short week. Ain't no time to wallow in pity. Ain't no time to get lost in despair. Get your ass back in gear, and let's go get that 10th win. Enough messing around. All right. Fins up all day, every day. I'll see y'all on the next one. And, hey, nothing you can do except move on. Enjoy Hard Knocks tonight. And now let's go beat the Jets. All right? I'll see y'all.